The amazing drama you're about to see is a matter of human record. You may believe it or not. But the real people who lived this story, they believe it. They know. They took that one step beyond.
With those words, a chilling anthology series by the name of One Step Beyond was born. The year was 1959, and the show was very expensive to film for the time, with the pilot episode alone costing around $30,000. In order to finance the show, it was shopped around to different sponsors. The Aluminum Company of America, otherwise known as Alcoa, liked the show and decided to become its sponsor. Originally called Alcoa Presents One Step Beyond, that title was dropped soon after, and the show just became One Step Beyond. The incredibly eerie theme music titled Fear was written by Harry Lubin. He also composed music for the second season of the science fiction horror anthology The Outer Limits. Just hearing that opening theme, even today, sends shivers up the spine. One Step Beyond ran for 3 seasons and was hosted by John Newland, who was, in his own words, your guide to the supernatural. Besides hosting, Newland directed every episode of the entire series. The episodes were largely shot on the MGM lot in order to save money and to take advantage of their massive costume department. That was fortunate because there were so many period pieces. Each episode was a 30-minute docudrama with the emphasis on true events, implying that they were historically factual. In fact, many shows were just based on urban legends, which were then dramatized for TV. One Step Beyond dealt with many supernatural events, including hauntings, premonitions, astral projections, and disasters. The show was first broadcast a full 9 months before The Twilight Zone. But even though both shows had some similarities, The Twilight Zone stories mostly dealt with science fiction and fantasy. Rod Serling, creator of The Twilight Zone, was a supporter of what John Newland was doing on One Step Beyond. Newland told the story of him and Rod getting together at a bar for drinks, but Rod told Newland that he was also creating an anthology series, but that his show would be pure fantasy and not delve into psychic powers like One Step Beyond. I wish I was a fly on the wall for that meeting. In a later interview, host and director John Newland stated that he would receive emails accusing him of being the Antichrist for telling these stories, especially the ones about real-life tragedies like the sinking of the Titanic and Abraham Lincoln's assassination. In its 3rd and final season, the show had a special episode that was even more reality-based than the rest. It was an episode titled The Sacred Mushroom and was filmed with a documentary tone. The mushrooms would supposedly give a person psychic powers when eaten. In the episode, host John Newland travels to Mexico, where he engages in a ritual with a local shaman, where several doctors that accompanied him would eat these mushrooms, which were simply called X. They would then study whether the mushrooms would enhance their psychic abilities. Newland and his crew landed at a tiny airstrip in Mexico and took a 4-day donkey ride to reach the isolated village where the experiments took place. The show was very controversial, and sponsor Alcoa thought it was too bizarre to put on the air, as it basically showed people getting high on TV in 1961. Newland persevered, however, and decided to take the mushrooms himself in a California lab under doctor's supervision. They kept 3 cameras rolling at all times and just continued shooting until they ran out of film. After eating the mushrooms, Newland felt lightheaded and had a sense of well-being, but observed nothing psychic or paranormal. His personal testimony persuaded Alcoa that the episode should be aired. According to Newland, it became One Step Beyond's most popular episode. After its original showing, the episode was removed from the general syndication package because of concerns over drug abuse. An exception to that was syndicator Kaiser Broadcasting, who aired the episode in several large markets during the 1970s. One Step Beyond was never canceled by the network, as it was still receiving high ratings during the 3rd season. John Newland himself decided to end the series, as he felt the show was running out of good ideas and was starting to repeat itself. Also, Newland stated that he felt that they were no longer the new kid on the block and they needed to make room for new product. In the 3 seasons the show aired, a total of 96 original episodes were filmed. In 1978, there was a short-lived revival of the series titled The Next Step Beyond, which aired for just 1 season. It was decided to shoot on videotape, thinking this was the medium of the future, but it didn't turn out that way. They decided that the results were inferior and switched back to 16mm film halfway through the season, but it was too late to save the show. One Step Beyond was the first show on television to focus on real supernatural events, and many of the episodes still hold up to this day. The official first season was remastered and finally released on DVD in 2009. Unfortunately, seasons 2 and 3 have yet to be officially released. In the words of host John Newland,
Explain it? We couldn't possibly even try.
One Step Beyond will live on as long as people believe in the supernatural, the afterlife, and psychic phenomenon. After all, who among us hasn't been fascinated by ghost stories or perhaps even had our own experience with the unknown? I hope you enjoyed this video. Join us again next time for more classic TV and movie retrospectives, reviews, and trivia on Rerun Zone. Goodbye for now.